Hi guys, today we are going to continue our journey through our U.S. regions. We are finally at our final region, the West region. So today we're going to talk about some landmarks and just the states that are in that West region. Please make sure you're taking notes, okay? You definitely want to stay tuned till the end of this video as well. The West region is made up of 11 different states, all the way from Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado, west to Washington, Oregon, and California. Idaho, Utah, and Nevada are in between there. Then we also have Alaska and Hawaii, which are not part of our contiguous or our continuous continental U.S. They are separate, but they still count in this West region. The West region has the lowest points of the U.S. and the highest points of the U.S. Okay, so the highest would be Denali in Alaska, which is a mountain range that is over 2,320 feet tall. Okay, and then there's also the lowest part of the U.S., which is Death Valley in California, which sits 282 feet above sea level. This region can be broken up into two little sub-regions, which would be the Pacific states and the mountain states. So Pacific states are going to be like Alaska and Hawaii, but also Washington, Oregon, and California. They make up that Pacific coastline. And then the mountain states are obviously more concentrated near the Rocky Mountains, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. So let's get into each of these individual states. Alaska is the largest peninsula in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, remember, a peninsula is a body of land that is surrounded on three sides by water. It includes the Alaskan mountain range, which includes Denali, which is that highest mountain in the U.S. It also has the Aleutian Islands, which stretch between Alaska and Japan. They're right here. And they are on the top of that ring of fire, which is actually an area where it's active volcano and an earthquake area. Next, we have Hawaii. Hawaii is the world's longest island chain with 132 islands. Now, I believe there are 7 of the big islands that people visit, but in this chain, there's actually 132 different smaller islands as well. All of these islands are just submerged volcanic mountains, which I think are super cool, even though they are inactive. Now, there are 5 that are active in that chain. Okay, this state is known for many waterfalls, canyons, and plateaus. Next, we have Washington. Washington contains 5 regions. We have the Cascade region, the Rocky Mountain region, the Puget Sound, lowlands, the coastal range, and then the Columbia Plateau. The Cascade Mountains include Mount Rainier, which is known as a very dangerous volcano, and also Mount St. Helens. You may have read an I Survived book about Mount St. Helens. It erupted in 1980, and it was a pretty big deal. I will post a video with some more information if you're interested. Next, we have Oregon. Oregon consists of a lot of forests, which actually their forests supply 1/10 of the nation's lumber just in this one state, which is pretty interesting. Oregon also has a lot of deep valleys and rugged mountains as well. California is up next. California has 840 miles of Pacific Ocean coastline. There's a lot of other landforms as well. We have some deserts, some valleys, some mountains, but definitely it is characterized by that Pacific Ocean coastline. Next, we have Nevada. It is our most mountainous state. There are 150 named mountain ranges. If we look at this physical map here, we can see the oranges and the reds and the yellows, which means it is definitely very high elevation, okay? Lots and lots of mountains. It lies completely within the Great Basin, which is a desert area as well, so some desert mountains. A lot of different landforms in Nevada: deserts, canyons, valleys, prairies, hot springs, geysers, mountains, okay? But please just know it is very hot and it is very mountainous. So desert and mountains are 2 things that characterize Nevada. Next, we have Utah, another very mountainous state. 3 landform regions can be found in Utah. We have the Colorado Plateau, the Rocky Mountains, and the Basin Ridge region. The Basin Ridge region contains that Great Salt Lake. This state alone just has a lot of salt beds, which is pretty interesting. Makes it very unique. Next, you have Colorado. The average elevation in Colorado is higher than any other state because those Rocky Mountains run right through the center of the state. It has 54 mountain peaks that are over 14,000 feet and more than 1,000 mountain peaks that are over 10,000 feet. So very high elevation there. Next, we have Idaho. It is covered by the Rocky Mountains as well. It also has some pretty unique landforms like the Shoshone Falls, which are waterfalls that are higher than Niagara Falls actually, and Hell's Canyon, which is a gorge that's deeper than the Grand Canyon. So they kind of have the best of both worlds, the high points and the low points as well. Next, we have Wyoming. Wyoming, the Rocky Mountains again run through Wyoming, but they also meet in the Great Plains. You can tell by this physical map, the green, that's some low flat land, okay? There is Devil's Tower National Monument, which is actually the nation's first monument. There's also major basins there. A basin, remember, is a depression or a dip in the Earth's surface, okay? And finally, we have Montana. By land size, Montana is the 4th largest state in the U.S., but by population, it's 44th. So while I have all of this land, there are not many people that live in Montana. 28 million acres of Montana are public land. Okay, there are 7 state forests and 53 state parks. We also have the Yellowstone River, which is the longest undammed river in the contiguous United States. Okay. So, and then also the Missouri River begins in Montana. And remember, we have talked so much about the Missouri River and how important it is to our country. It actually begins in Montana. So today you are going to go ahead and go do your show it on Buzz. Please make sure you get that turned in today. It shouldn't take you long. If your name is Carson T or Catherine T, shoot me an email and just say, hey, I watched the presentation all the way to the end, and your class will receive bonus points, bonus positive points. So it's up to Carson and Catherine to get their classes those bonus points. I will see you guys later.